Hi everyone, it's Gary Nicholson here. This is your Planning Outlook video updated on Friday the 28th of September. Now, fairly high pressure will influence England and Wales in particular during the week ahead, but we're always going to be bothered to some degree with a west or southwesterly coming round into Scotland, so never quite shaking off periods of wind and rain and low cloud affecting western mountains, but some days will do pretty well. Temperatures generally on the cool side across the mountains throughout the week ahead. Let's have a look at those temperatures. This is the 850 millibar level, and that's a constant pressure height that we use in forecasting. And due to the thermal properties of the air, the height that you would find 850 millibars up through the atmosphere will vary. It's higher across the south of Britain at the moment and lower towards the north where the air is cooler. But at the very least, this level is just above the highest Scottish summits at the moment by about 100 metres or so it gives us the useful first steer for predicting the temperatures on our highest tops. Now this is through Saturday, and values are above freezing across Scotland as a whole, but it's a fairly cool day across the Highlands. Let's just run on to tell the general story, and it's a cooler air mass that sweeps in from the northwest through Sunday, so the freezing level will drop, and it will drop sub-zero on the higher tops through Sunday and particularly into Monday as briefly much colder air comes around from the northwest. It gets pushed away as fronts come in from the Atlantic. A warm front comes in through Monday and temperatures will tend to rise. It will drop again from the northwest as a cold front comes down through Tuesday. So temperatures up and down really, but will then linger on the cooler side through midweek. I suppose it's back and forth to some degree, but you can see how it comes back from the northwest again in the second half of the week with somewhat cooler air. Now, the 5-day rainfall prediction highlights that Western Scotland, the West and Northwest Highlands will take most of the rain. That's through until the end of Tuesday, first of all, on this chart. Bits and pieces coming onto western hills of England and Wales at times, but relatively small amounts. There's hardly anything which will reach the Midlands and eastern parts of England throughout. We just run that on for the next 5-day period. That takes you through to the end of next Sunday the 7th, and it looks somewhat wetter across the West Highlands with weather systems still coming in from the Atlantic and maybe with a bit more strength by that stage. Confidence is a bit lower, but that general theme of being wettest towards the northwest, least rain across the Eastern Highlands and relatively lower rainfall totals getting into England and Wales. So always keep an eye on your day-to-day details, updated every day at the Mountain Weather Information Service website. Let's just run through the charts. This is Saturday. We've got high pressure centred across central and southern parts of Britain and Ireland with a westerly flow across northern regions, west by southwesterly winds, and a cold front just edging in to northwest Scotland, which will make the rain just become more persistent as the day goes on. Very little of that, though, toward the eastern side of the Highlands, and essentially a dry and sunny day across England and Wales. More in the way of cloud overall further south across the country on Sunday as what's left of that cold front sinks southwards. A few spots of rain on it, but it's a weakening feature. Showers coming round into Scotland. These are a wintry flavour down to fairly low levels coming in across the north and western Highlands, 1 or 2 into the Cairngorms as well. Driest across the southeastern Highlands and broadly dry across much of England and Wales. Monday sees a ridge of high pressure building in, 1 or 2 showers early in the day, but the wind going round from northwest back towards west and then southwest as fronts start to come in from the Atlantic and that milder air starts to push back in. But a chilly day for a good many hours on Monday, and then just watch later for rain setting in across the Western Highlands, preceded by some snow before that temperature does lift on those higher tops. Just watch your timing, not quite so sure exactly at what point that system gets into the far west. A little bit messy into Tuesday, a broadly westerly flow, front draped across what looks like central parts of Britain and Ireland, generally zones of cloud, bits and pieces of rain or drizzle, the odd shower. Looks a blustery day, maybe even a very windy day across Scotland if that low to the north is as close as shown here and back in that cooler air mass. So just watch for being rather cold and unpleasant if you're exposed on the higher mountains. By Wednesday, we've got somewhat milder air coming back in again. High pressure is across the south, so it should be bright weather across much of England and Wales with patchy rain or drizzle likely focused on the far west of Scotland. So we're trying to get high pressure built across the country, and for many places it'll be a reasonable week, but it's always a struggle, it seems, at the moment, just to get the high completely built in right the way across. So it always means that Scotland particularly is left rather changeable and never quite settles down, and it seems to have been a theme of recent times where high pressure seems to want to build within the week to 10-day outlook and never quite gets all the way in. So bit of a tricky one in that modelling world at the moment. Let's just have a look through how the computer model handles things then as we go through the rest of next week. And basically it's that westerly that's around. High pressure is across the south. We've got changeable conditions towards the north. Still got a little subtropical low across the North Atlantic, well, the mid-Atlantic really. That's having some role to play, and eventually that might start to connect with an upper trough that comes in off northern Canada. And the remnants of something of a tropical feature could just start to get drawn into the mix, say, towards next weekend or beyond. But it's all very low confidence, it must be said. I think I'd just watch the details as things unfold for that next weekend of October. We might be looking at some further wet and windy weather coming in, but I wouldn't absolutely guarantee the timing just at this stage. So for now, it's almost a familiar pattern to where we are just in the recent times, with most of the rain focused on the Western Highlands, not too much ever getting to many mountains elsewhere, and temperatures a little bit up and down, but often on the chilly side. We'll update this video again for you early next week. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.